President William Ruto must prepare for a political war against Rigathi Gachagua in 2027. The former deputy president is cooking something that President William Samoei Arap Ruto must be afraid of politically. Now, ODM Member of Parliament by the name Jared Okello is revealing why Rigathi Gachagua might contest against President William Ruto. Let us listen to him speaking before we proceed.
Yeah. But also remember that the only candidate that may run against him would be Rigathi. The argument would be that when you are impeached, you cannot run for any political or appointive office for 10 years. But remember, there is the presumption of innocence until proven otherwise by a court of law.
Yeah.
Rigathi would do as much as he can to delay this court process as much as possible. Because once you've not exhausted all the appellate channels and you have a pending court matter, no one stops you from running. That is why today there will be a decision being made whether the composition of that panel, the empaneling of judges, the 3 judges led by Ogolla, was actually in tandem with the laws.
Yeah.
Because he claims that they had already expressed some biases. So that is, we have not even gotten to the substantive matter.
Yeah.
We are still on peripheral objections here and there. What he's trying to do, and he benefits from very good legal advice, drag this case. Because by the time they will be coming now to discuss the substantive matter, it will be end of this year.
Yeah.
Then a decision will be made by High Court that he actually lost fairly in the impeachment process. Then he will move to the Court of Appeal.
Yeah.
The Court of Appeal will take another 1 year.
Yeah.
A decision will still be made that there was no error by Parliament to impeach him. Then he will move to the Supreme Court. And when you see the Supreme Court judges being exposed to a petition by none other than the former LSK president is not an idle endeavor. Because the Supreme Court, as is currently constituted, if all the allegations that have been leveled against them on corruption is anything to go by, then they may actually clear Rigathi and say, Parliament add, the Court of Appeal add, High Court add, and therefore he ought to have been legally in office. That then gives him a leverage to run. So he may be a candidate. I'm not saying he will, but he may be. And remember, immediately after the impeachment, Kalonzo Musyoka started making forays in central Kenya as the alternative candidate. That has since stopped because Rigathi has seen that he could actually run, and therefore we don't need Kalonzo. That is why now Kalonzo is talking to himself in press conferences in his home, not even in the field, in his home. So things are going to change, but
ideally it's supposed to be the same coalition. It's supposed to be Azimio. So when you say
it should be Azimio, but he has
Azimio bolted long time ago.
He has held a series of press conferences. We are never invited.
Now that is why I am saying that former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua might contest against President William Ruto. And I began by telling you that William Ruto must prepare for a political war in 2027. And I'm going to explain why. But before you do that, in case this is your first time on the Sport Check YouTube channel, kindly support us by subscribing and turning on the notifications bell. We are on a mission to 6,000 subscribers before the end of this month. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting this YouTube channel. The reality on the ground is that President William Ruto has become unpopular. And I've been saying this, that the head of state, for him to secure a second term in 2027, it is not going to be a walk in the park. If a member of parliament like Jared Okello from ODM is coming out to give us a hint that indeed Rigathi Gachagua might be preparing himself to run against President William Ruto in 2027. My honest opinion, it is true. And from the pictures I'm showing you on your screen, you can clearly tell that Rigathi Gachagua's rural home, that is the Wamunyoro home, he has been receiving visitors. And you can clearly see how he is talking to them. Maybe they are getting advice from their future political leader, which is Rigathi Gachagua. And by the way, remember, Rigathi Gachagua said that before the end of January, and we are waiting to see whether he is going to unveil his political party, whether it is going to be Mount Kenya based or it is going to paint a national picture. We are waiting to see. Now, there's something that Jared Okello has mentioned, and I must talk about it. It is about Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment. And he has explained very well that he can drag these cases all the way from the High Court to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court. And if he is cleared, he can run for a political office. If he is not cleared, then he can also do his own political activities. But if he is cleared, William Ruto is going to face a political war in Mount Kenya region. And it must be specific. Even in 2027, if Rigathi Gachagua will not change his tactics, then Kenyans will not take him seriously. He will only be taken seriously in Mount Kenya region. If he can decide to get out of Mount Kenya region as early as today, take his political activities to Nyanza, Coast, Ukambani, Rift Valley, Northeastern, and Nairobi, there are many people who want to vote President William Ruto out in 2027. And that is the only way he can save himself from this narrative being created by President William Ruto's allies, because they're saying that he is tribal. Some of them are alleging that he is mwizi. So the only way he can clear his name is by getting out of Mount Kenya region. Even if he doesn't vie, still William Ruto is going to face a political war from Rigathi Gachagua, because he is going to turn Mount Kenya region against him. And in 2027, I'm telling you, President William Ruto might be a one-term president, something that I'm certain his political associates are not aware, but it is likely to happen. Anyway, guys, that is just my opinion. In case you have any counter opinion, feel free to share in the comment section and I will be replying to your feedback. Now, I promised you at the end of my videos to carry out civic education. This is what you need to do. You need to register as a voter as soon as possible. And the beauty of being a registered voter is that you can participate in two types of elections. One, general elections. Two, by-elections. Number two, remember to demonetize politics. The beauty of demonetizing politics in Kenya is that we can get leaders of high integrity who will not be tempted to steal public funds. Because have you ever wondered where members of parliament that you have elected who spent millions during the campaign period will get their money back? Most of them might be tempted to do abracadabra through corruption to get their money back. Then lastly, remember to vote for someone with a vision, not someone who is going to make your ward, constituency, county, and even the country to lag behind in terms of development, because the work of a government is to come up with policies. I will see you in the next video. My name is Juan Odero.